We find ourselves at the home of the world's first retractable natural grass field as you get a look inside State Farm Stadium in Glendale. Tonight we wrap up an intriguing Week 2 with a good Monday night matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. The first game's out of the way. Time to buckle down for the long season ahead, and we're off in Week 2. And no run back on the opening kickoff. It'll come out to the 25. They'll start the drive with Dixon. And right away they're going to stack him up right at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the game's first play. And it's second down now. This defense for the Cards, terrific last week in the season opening victory.
And that's not the half of it. They forced 7 turnovers in that game. And I know we always talk about turnovers coming in bunches once you force the first one. But 7? That seems almost impossible, but we watched it happen.
Meanwhile, Dak's throw complete here to Waller. It'll go down as a gain of 6, and now it's 3rd and 3. I think defensively you're okay with that. Here in the first quarter, he's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that, you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where every series they have to work hard to pick up first downs, and you tend to stall them out when you do that.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
How about that? Red man coverage and decided to test them early. But they proved up to the task and forced the incompletion.
4th down, and out comes Jordan Stout here to punt. Call it 46 yards on the punt, just a single yard on the return as he was covered quickly. And the Cards will take over, 1st and 10. Murray and the Cardinals with a 1st and 10 at the 20.
Big X open.
They'll start out on the ground at Saquon Barkley, and he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
I thought he did a nice job there setting an edge and make sure nothing could get to the outside. But he decided that wasn't enough for him. Worked his way back inside and made the tackle on the ball carrier.
Running again with Barkley on 2nd down. And for a 2nd straight play, that Cowboy defense gets him to the ground behind the line of scrimmage. That'll wind up as a loss on the play, so now they're staring at a 3rd down and 12. We'll see what they have drawn up here, a little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a 1st down. From the gun on 3rd down, Murray. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
That was their first 3rd down try of the game, and clearly something was off in the execution of that play. Good news, they've got a whole game left to clean that up and start clicking on those key 3rd down throws.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And a 3 and out on that first drive. We'll see if they can do better here.
they should have a better opportunity because the nerves should be settled now. That first series, everybody goes out a little extra emotion. So now they get a chance to go back out and say, okay, now we're into the game. Let's go play and play as best we can.
You almost get a mulligan then on that first drive?
Sometimes it absolutely serves that way. You get a second opportunity. Nothing big happened. But then again, you didn't commit any mistakes either. Off you go.
Gonna take a shot for Gallup. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. It's a gain of 35. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Looking to throw. Prescott. Touchdown, Cowboys. A great play there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Cowboys will claim the early lead as they're on the board first here tonight. Point after, right down the middle. And that makes the score 7-0. The kick team out there for the Cowboys as they run up to send this one away. He will return this from deep in the end zone. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for.
On 2nd and 7, Murray. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
We'll put a check mark in the box where the defense coordinator was saying, how well can we stay with these receivers if we're in man coverage? Because he just did it on that one, forced the incompletion. That'll allow him to get bolder with his pass rush, won't it?
Absolutely, frees up your guys elsewhere. Catch is made by Marquise Brown. And he is going to have a Cardinals first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
He rifles one that's intercepted. They juked him. Well, when I looked down, he was kind of shaking his head right after he threw that pass. What did you see?
Well, from a defense's perspective, anytime you have your eyes back towards the quarterback, you're in a position to make a play on the ball, whether it's a big-time play by you or an overthrow by the quarterback. You have a much better opportunity.
Following the interception, here's Prescott. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Dixon. Now this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down. Here's 2nd and 1 now from the 7. Running out of the gun with Dixon. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. It's a 3-yard pickup, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Now that's the way to do it. Hand it to someone with vision and good footwork, and add in a little bit of power, and you find a way to pick up first downs.
Elliott will take this into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. So after the disappointment in the opening week loss, Charles, this looks like really a completely different football team.
They sure do, and I think they realize we can't start 0-2, and they're determined to not let it happen by the looks of things here in the early going.
Extra point splits the uprights, and that'll make the score 14-0. The kick team out there for the Cowboys as they run up to send this one away. Now this will be returned from deep in the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. Arizona's offense at the line, ready to get their drive started. They find themselves in a good-sized hole here, and a good-sized hole early on in this game as they come up on first down. And that closed up quickly there as he gets it up only to about the 17. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Not a whole lot there. The defense was ready, it looked, for that run-pass option.
You get the sense that next time he has that opportunity, he may keep it himself and get to the perimeter. Probably owes his back a little bit of an apology on that one, huh?
Airing it out, looking for Ridley. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there, trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone. And there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
Hey.
Here's Murray. He completes it to Ridley. And way up past the 35 before he's taken down. Great way to convert on 3rd down there. 21 yards the play.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief coming from their sideline and from their point on the field, because this has been a tough start for them thus far. A much-needed first down there. They needed something good to happen. Plays like that will continue to help them dig out of this hole.
And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
From the 39, Murray. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and now that sets up 3rd and 2.
And I think this is a route we'll see more of as this game goes on, because with his speed, they want to get him the ball in space on drag routes just like this. They want him to get the ball and run after the catch. Good job there, though, holding him for a short gain.
Third and 2, and here's Murray. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. This will wind up a loss on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
To me, this is a case of if you're not getting the ball, you've got to do your job and block for the guy who is, because there really wasn't much there. And, boy, the defense took advantage with that loss.
And the defense, they were just locked in there on 3rd. They had more guys than they could block. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here. And now Prescott is going to be taken down. He couldn't get away, and that's a safety.
Every team has plays in their book to try and buy some room when a safety's on the table. But a big variable is how does each team deal with the pressure of executing in those situations. In this case, they didn't, and they gave up 2 points.
Murray and the Cardinals with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. He'll drop it off with Saquon Barkley. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
Now 2nd and 7 from the 23. Now Murray. And he will go down. A Cowboys sack. They push him back 8 yards that time on 2nd down.
Now, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. And the Cowboys are going to take possession of the football. They had him back deep, got the interception, and now they start inside the 10.
Partner, forget starting inside the red zone. They're inside the green zone. From the 10-yard line in, a lot of teams call it that because that's the money zone. Get it into...
And this is caught for a Cowboy touchdown. 2 first-half touchdown passes now for Dak Prescott. And the Cowboys are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Extra point right down the middle. And that will make this a 19-point game. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. From deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. Well, still early in this one, Charles, but the last time this offense was out there, they threw their first interception of the ball game, so trying to avoid repeating that mistake here on this drive.
And to put a positive spin on it, at least it happened in the first half and not in a close game in the fourth quarter, but you're absolutely right, partner. One of the last things this offensive quarterback wants to witness again in this game.
Kind of an obvious question, Charles, but anything you try to avoid after your first pick, or you say it's one interception, we're still in the first half, I'm about to do the same thing?
I think you want to avoid playing scared, and put it into the mind of the quarterback that you've lost confidence in him. Make sure you get some throws that he's going to be able to complete, make him feel good about himself, and continue to run your offense.
Couple of Oklahoma teammates there. Murray to Brown for a Cardinal first. And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's second down. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, so let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They're giving him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks, and he seems a little bit confused.
Oh, they've intercepted Murray for the 3rd time. And the Cowboys are going to take possession of the football. A nightmare of a first half for him. That's now 3 interceptions. But, Charles, with his talent, if anyone can shake this off and right the ship, it's him.
I agree, because you don't get to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league without developing some major mental toughness. So I expect him to go in the locker room at halftime, hit the reset button, and come out a new guy in half number 2.
And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. Defensively, though, they had a chance there to hit him for a loss. Couldn't get it done.
Looked like someone was able to knife into the backfield, but he wasn't able to get him down. But his compatriots, they were able to grab him at the line of scrimmage and not let him get any further downfield.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10.
Here we go, 47. Here we go, go to 54, go to 54. 26.
Play fake. Here's Prescott. And the pressure will bring him down here. The Cardinals get home for the sack. It'll go in the books as a 7-yard loss on the sack, and it's 3rd down.
They just gave up a sack there, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 4 last week, didn't they?
Yes, and just looking really porous, aren't they?
They really are, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to start thinking about keeping the tight end in, maybe a back, someone to help assist, because right now, the quarterback's been getting hit a lot in the last couple of games.
Now the throw on 3rd down, knocked away and incomplete.
They certainly had good starting field position on that drive, but couldn't do anything with it after 3 plays. Have to admit that that's a disappointing end to excellent field position. When that drive started, they had 6 points that they were thinking about.
So look at this. Here's the field goal unit coming out, and he is going to need to bomb this one. And this is good. It was running out of gas there at the end, but he winds up getting just enough on it. Well, I don't know if you ever go into a game expecting to attempt a kick of 62 yards. Charles not only attempt it, but make it one of the longest kicks that we've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not sure you ever go into a game expecting to kick one of this distance, but all the better kickers, they do dream of it, and they show what they can do in practice and convince their coaches to give them a chance. That one surely paid off.
Arizona's offense at the line, ready to get their drive started. Now, they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. To throw, it's Murray. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the first down. Opted to run for it. The decision a good one. Picking up the first, getting 14 yards on the scramble. Murray now on first down. And that is caught. It's Ridley. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. A very solid gain of 27.
Now that's the kind of big play you'd like to see. This first half, it hasn't gone their way. They could use a shot in the arm, something to perk them up a bit. And they get one here in the passing game.
Murray now on first down. A quick throw, but incomplete.
They had their backs up against the wall a little bit, and they come through by forcing an incompletion. Now they've got to continue to ratchet up the intensity a couple more times and get off the field before giving up any more yardage.
To throw once more on 2nd and 10. Murray. And they're going to move it down to inside the 25. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. Murray to air it out again. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Ferguson. And out of bounds all the way down at the 3. So much for the run on 3rd and 1. Instead, it's a big chunk in the pass game. First down.
And this is an offense in need of getting a few good things to happen. Here's one right here. They've had their share of struggles in key moments, but that's a nice throw and nice work after the throw. And they're set up now with a 1st and goal.
Here's Murray. And they'll go backwards here, losing yardage to the 14. So that one a disaster, a big loss there with 2nd down coming up. Now that's just one of those head scratchers. You watch that one back on film as a coach, probably say, well, what in the world did we do there?
Yeah, it makes it tough on a coach, doesn't it? When you have to teach him how to keep fighting and breaking tackles versus when to say that's enough. That play is already done.
Another try for Barkley. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next.
Not a big run, not an explosive run, but they've held the ball for plenty of plays on this drive. They're just trying to impose their will on the defense right now.
Big play coming here. It's 3rd and goal.
Hey.
Murray now. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Kelvin Joseph. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Cowboy defense has a touchdown. Now the extra point. And that'll push the lead up to 29 now. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. He will return this from deep in the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense.
Things for them, just to put it bluntly, man, it has been tough sledding here in the first half, facing that big deficit. The clock is dwindling now. Maybe if they can get something on the board here before intermission, they'll have at least a little momentum heading into the second half.
Down he goes at the 23, a pickup of 4.
I feel like I could see what he was thinking on that carry. Wanted to follow that big tackle through the hole. Ended up only getting 4 yards on the carry. I think he had designs on that one being bigger.
Airing it out, looking for Ridley. And my goodness, another interception. Picked off by Malik Hooker. I think you and I were a little surprised back earlier in the game when he threw his second interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe what we've just seen.
The Cards get to him here. He's brought down for a sack. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime.
So, Charles, no turnovers yet for this offense, but those sacks now, they're starting to pile up.
And one thing usually leads to another because they've got to figure out how the offensive line and everyone else involved in protection can keep their quarterback upright and allow him a chance to throw the ball downfield.
Throwing on second and long. Prescott, throw left side complete. That's Dixon. And now we'll get a late timeout as it comes in the waning moments of quarter number 2. Final play of the half. Prescott.
He'll get this out wide here to Elliott.
And they needed 2. They could only get 1. 4th down. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As now we send you out to Orlando and hook back up with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gordon. It'll be the Cardinals who get the ball first. They trail here as we resume action in the 3rd quarter. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Arizona's offense at the line, ready to get their drive started.
CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the second half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history. That's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And partner, you know, as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. And let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late that wasn't enough to put someone away. But that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
And that is incomplete. But the pressure there on 3rd down, forcing the errant pass. 4th down coming up. Here comes the Cardinals punter now, as he'll come on to kick this one away. "31 yards on the punt there. And the Cowboys will take over the football with a 1st and 10. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And it's hard to imagine that the first half could have gone any better for them. So what's the approach here in the second half?
Just continue to play smart football because they got the other team down and they feel good about the position they're in. The obvious thing people would say is just keep attacking, but I think you also have to be smart about it. Avoid turnovers. That's about the only thing that can derail you at this point. Attack, but make sure you take care of the ball.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. They'll keep it on the ground. It's Dixon again. And space tough to come by there as he'll get maybe a yard to the 37. When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
On 3rd down, it's Prescott. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. He couldn't get away there on 3rd down. The pressure too much, and he's sacked for a loss of 12. So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Taken in at the 22. So a good punt, but a solid 12-yard return. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. Well, we haven't exactly been treated to a nail-biter in this one, CD, and if they cannot score here, this one's pretty much all but over.
Are you saying that you feel like people are starting to think about getting out of here, maybe beating the traffic in order to get home or to their final destination?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to hang around, especially if they can't score here.
Yeah, you're right about that because it has been pretty clear who the better team has been in this one. And in a league that we talk about every game being a one-score game as we go into it, watching this blowout, let's just say it's been unusual.
Defensive end, DeMarcus Lawrence applied the heat.
A CD, you know, so often we talk about quarterbacks holding on to the ball too long. Well, we can't say that there. He had no time to do much of anything.
Yeah, that's one where you turn to your lineman and say, guys, can I get a little help here? And you have to ask politely because, remember, they're blocking for you the entire game. But as a quarterback, you've also got to have the clock running in your head when you need to get rid of the football. But this time, he had no chance. They were on him instantly.
As we check the next-gen stats, you'll see he had precious little time to do anything with the football there.
So a change of possession here on the punt.
And they will take over 1st and 10.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense.
Charles, a very uninspired effort. The last time we saw them out there was a quick 3-and-out, then they punted the football.
Yeah, and you never want to get stopped so soundly during a series, but what would be even worse now is letting it happen again right here. They've got to get going.
Here we go, 46.
From the 22, Prescott. He'll look downfield for Waller. And this is incomplete.
Oh, it looked like he had a pretty good line on that one. That would have been a big play, but he could not pull it in.
And those two just have been in sync thus far. They've done a nice job against him, but still, with his talent, you would expect them to have more completions to him in this game.
They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down. Here's Prescott. Man open, that's complete to Dalton Schultz.
And he will have a Cowboys 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
This offensive game plan has just been sensational. I mean, when you think about all the different ways they've gotten their receivers open so far, it's really been impressive. Scheme, design, execution.
And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at 2nd down.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. They stay on the ground with Dixon. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. Give him 10 there, good enough for a Cowboy 1st down.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
On 1st down, they go with Dixon. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Hey, a lot of points have been scored in this game against them, but tally that one on the side of the defense.
Do you think maybe, possibly, it can be a little bit of a changer for them? Maybe not a game changer, but a little bit of a momentum one that maybe they can string together some pretty good plays and slow them down.
Looking at a 2nd and 11 now after the loss. Dixon running from the shotgun. And he'll be brought down, it looks like right at the 40.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. On 3rd and short, it's Dixon. And he gets it to the 34, good enough for the 1st.
So that time they got the left guard with a hold.
And let's face it, in today's ball, you might have that 330-pound guy you're supposed to clear out of there. You might need a little bit of extra help by grabbing the jersey and trying to ride him out.
Here comes the 8th play of the drive, and they need a full 10 yards on 3rd down. Prescott now from the 50. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And that is caught. Touchdown, Cowboys.
So, Charles, the bad taste from that opening week loss, that's just a memory now. This has been a very strong performance as they score once again.
Yeah, I know it's only week 2, but you're exactly right, because this team felt like they let one get away in the opener. And not only were they determined to not let the same thing happen here, they knew that they had to correct a bunch of things. So everything went wrong in game 1. They took care of business with it in game 2.
And this will not be brought out. It's a touchback.
Arizona's offense at the line, ready to get their drive started.
Well, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. And this is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
He's going deep for Brown, and that is incomplete.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
And now here is another interception. Picked up by Leighton Vander Esch.
And the Cowboys are going to take possession of the football.
Well, to be frank, CD, this is getting tough to watch. I mean, you feel for him, but 6 interceptions, that's at a whole new level. It's not a good level.
It makes it tougher and tougher to come up with ways to try and support him. But you have to as a team because you can't just throw your quarterback aside. You're going to need him later on. But it reminds me of a time that a former defense coordinator of mine told me he was in a game where his quarterback threw 7 interceptions. So after the 6-1, one of the defensive players went to the quarterback and said, here's what you do. Throw the ball to the other team, and let's see if our receivers can pick it off and turn it into a completion.
That's just mean. I don't know that I'd go down there and say that to him right now. Probably pretty fragile. And they won't be able to run another play. Time has expired on this third quarter. You are watching the NFL. The last run got 6. Now 2nd and 4. Right back to Dixon. And they will only muster a yard here to the 38.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
On 3rd down, here's Dixon. He's going to be a yard short. Needed 2, but only got 1. 4th down. This late in the game, Charles, I think you maybe seriously have to think about going for it.
Especially where they are in terms of field position, because this is almost like no man's land. Might hurt your punter because there might not be enough space, maybe too far for your field goal kicker. I'm like the old rule. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession is 9/10 of winning the game. Go for it. Get the first down. Close it out.
Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
And they're going to mark that where it went out of bounds. So really good starting field position up past the 40-yard line. So good field position for the Cardinals as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 43. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. They may want to go back to that one. First play of the drive, good for 15 and a 1st down.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
And here comes throw number 1 for the backup QB. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
Multiple players getting home there, and it's a loss of 2 on the sack.
But when this game is done, the credit will go to the consistent pressure on the quarterback as a huge cause to this win. Most teams are happy if they get a few of these games per year. You know they're going to watch this tape over and over, try to identify what's working and keep it going. But you've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
Here we go. Here we go.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. They've converted a 3rd of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This will be 3rd and 6. It's complete to Brown, right side. And this won't do it. He needed 6. He only got halfway there. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Garabay's kick is good.
And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit.
So they hadn't called on him at all until this point, but he comes through here and buries one from long range.
Yeah, that's awfully impressive because usually kickers like to get that first one out of their system in the first quarter, sort of get them into the flow of the game, but to come in this late and knock it down from long distance, give him a lot of credit.
And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. You just kind of feel for the defense right now. This deficit, they have not been able to stop them the entire game, Charles. And some hands on hips, some long faces out there on the defensive side. They're like, oh my gosh, we got to face these guys again here.
Yeah, people don't understand how hard it is when you're on the side that's being dominated to keep your head up and continue to play hard. And that's what they're going through right now, trying to find that pride inside of them to allow them to continue to fight, even though they are down huge in this game.
67 yards on the ground for him now as he's done that on 15 carries. Now on first, Dixon again. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. Second down.
You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. Officially no gain on the play, and they're left with a 3rd and 8.
His carries tonight, they're getting up there, so maybe one of those every now and then is understandable.
I would agree with that. Understandable every now and then. Sometimes you come back and you fake it to him and go play action. But other times you say, okay, they got him on that one. We'll come back to him in another carry.
A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Well, big here in the 4th quarter, up really big. That pass and incompletion, I don't think they needed the completion, but Charles, this is an offense right now that they're just having fun. They're clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't need a completion. They certainly don't need any more points, but they're not going to turn them down. They're going to continue to run what they have in their playbook, and they still want to run it efficiently.
And he is out of bounds up past the 10.
A nice return that time, gets 12 yards back.
And the Cards are going to have the football with a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense.
Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Ready?
This one's incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass.
70.
They'll look to throw. And he's got his man, Marquise Brown.
And he is going to have a Cardinals 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Offense for them has been at a premium. You wonder where plays like that have been all game long.
They're thinking the exact same thing themselves, but they're also looking forward now, because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going.
They'll look to throw now on 1st down. And he fires one that's intercepted.
Picked up by Leighton Vander Esch. And the Cowboys are going to take possession of the football. But with this advantage, this defense knew that passes were coming, and they stayed in position, Charles, and picked one off here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, what a way to cap things off, huh? Because I think this is part of the game within the game. They see the scoreboard, they see what they can accomplish, and they went for it.
And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20.
91 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. And they'll indeed take a knee. And they take a knee. The last two plays each lose a yard. They'll try to move forward here on 3rd and 12. Clock counting down toward 40 seconds as they take the knee.